Hello, and welcome to the ReNeural Project. This is James, your host and channel creator. For our inaugural video, I thought I'd lay out what the ReNeural Project is and what I hope to accomplish with it. This video will give the viewer a general idea of what to expect, as well as serve as a sort of long-form mission statement. The ReNeural Project is meant to be a news and information hub that will cover the ongoing developments that will transform the lives of those living with disability and disease in the coming decades, and perhaps one day render those very concepts obsolete. Although we will cover a broad range of topics related to this core theme, we will place a special emphasis on brain and spinal cord disorders. My reasons for having this focus are very personal. I have cerebral palsy, which is a neurological disorder that affects balance and coordination. It also gives me a severe speech impediment. You may have noticed that my voice sounds a bit mechanical. That is because what you are currently listening to is not my actual voice, but a text-to-speech program called MRF. MRF uses artificial intelligence to approximate a human-sounding voice. It's actually a great example of the kind of technology that I will be showcasing on this channel. If you think you might be interested in using MRF for your own projects, follow the link in the description. Having grown up with a disability, there have been periods of my life, taking place years apart from one another, when I've wondered about the possibility of being cured. I suppose that everyone in my position has those thoughts occasionally. And, like most people in my position, when I would have these thoughts, I would turn to the internet. For most of my life, the hope that I found there was scant to non-existent. When I went through the latest of these episodes about a year ago, however, things were different. I saw that, for example, in 2012 the stem cell researcher Shinya Yamanaka won the Nobel Prize for pioneering a technique for converting adult cells back into stem cells, thereby bypassing the ethical issues that many have with stem cell research and eliminating the need for stem cell donors. I also learned about the work of Daniel Tornero and Sara Palmatortosa at the University of Barcelona, Spain, showing that such stem cells could be used to reverse brain damage in stroke-affected mice. Then there was the achievement of a single-cell atlas of the mammalian motor cortex by the international effort of the Brain Initiative Cell Census Network, or BICCN, the results of which were published in the October 2021 issue of Nature magazine. And all of this is to say nothing of the rapid advancements being made on brain-computer interfaces, gene editing, and numerous other fields. In looking into these things, I also noticed something else. By and large, these amazing breakthroughs aren't being talked about. They aren't being covered by the media, nor does the general public seem all that interested. The reasons for this are most likely related to the academic nature of the material and the current lack of practical application. The ReNeural Project will address the first problem by curating the information and making it accessible to a general audience. It will then address the second problem, first by highlighting developments in this space as they happen, and then by offering fact-based speculation about the near-future impact of these developments on individuals like myself and on society as a whole. In doing this, my goals and aspirations for the channel are as follows. Number 1. To give hope to other disabled people and their families. First and foremost, the purpose of the ReNeural Project is to give hope to people like myself, people who live with disability or chronic illness, as well as to their friends and families. In researching this topic, I have had my spirits bolstered by the realization that there is a possibility that the next couple of decades may very well see, in large part, an outright end to disability and disease, and that, by the later part of this century, people may view being sick or disabled the way that we today view being completely illiterate, something that used to be very common but has since become incredibly rare. I want to spread that realization to as many people as possible. This is not a fantasy, either. My sense is that many disabled people and their loved ones don't bother researching this topic, or even actively avoid doing so, essentially because they are afraid of getting their hopes up. While I understand why they feel that way, I would just like to point out that there is a difference between naive hope that is based on wishful thinking, and reasonable hope that is based on knowledge. I believe that the hope that I am offering is of the latter variety. I want to spread this hope, not just because of my empathy for other disabled people, but also because of my awareness that some are in even more need of this message than I am. When I was a child, one of the things that my parents used to tell me whenever I was struggling with my condition was that, no matter how bad you think you have it, there's always someone out there who's got it worst. That lesson has stuck with me through the years. As aware as I am of my own struggles, I am also aware that those experiences pale in comparison to what some others go through. To those watching this video who live with any kind of disability or illness, my message is this: for many of the conditions now considered incurable, the time between now and when that is no longer the case is going to be much shorter than most people realize. My reasons for having such confidence are twofold: 1, the progress currently being made, and 2, the fact that the rate of technological innovation tends to increase as time moves forward, a phenomenon known as the law of accelerating returns. This is the idea that the nature of technological progress is exponential, not linear. This is a counterintuitive concept for many people, but, if you take a moment to think about it, it actually does make sense. We use the technology that we already have to help us develop new technology. So, the better our current technology is, the easier it is to then reach the next milestone, and then the next. In this way, technology builds on itself. Hopefully, as the videos start rolling out on this channel, you will start to get a sense of just how fast things are moving in the biotech space. This, combined with an understanding of the law of accelerating returns, leaves one with the impression that major improvements in our ability to treat currently untreatable conditions, or at least to compensate, in large part, for the impairments in functioning that they cause, are just around the corner. Number 2, to raise awareness and get people excited. I do, of course, want to reach an even broader audience than those who will directly benefit from these emerging technologies. My second aspiration for the channel is that it will become a catalyst for an increase in public consciousness of these breakthroughs and their implications, not only for the sick or disabled, but also for society as a whole. Merely informing people about the progress that is being made is not enough, however. What I really want to do is get people as excited as I am about what lies ahead. As mentioned in the introduction, there seems to be an overall lack of interest in this topic. There are many possible reasons for this. For one thing, there is a lack of immediacy. The general public doesn't typically get invested in research that may take a long time to reach the point of practical application. A similar thing can be said of biotech companies, since many of them are still in the research and development stages. While science can be interesting, it can sometimes be difficult to connect the contents of some obscure research paper or the results of a lab experiment to the potential real-world impact years or even decades away. Another problem is that there is very little motivation for those that understand the topic to communicate that information to a general audience. Most academics are not really concerned with spending their time trying to explain the nuances of their work to the public. One can hardly blame them, as such work is very time-consuming and explaining it to laymen is most likely seen as a distraction. The ReNeural Project exists to bridge these gaps by making the emerging and fast-evolving world of the biomedical field come alive to the average viewer. In order to achieve this goal, the modus operandi of the channel will be to have one foot in real cutting-edge science and the other foot in near-term medical futurism. These two threads will be tightly intertwined, so that they feed off of each other. The science will keep the futurism grounded and realistic, while the futurism will provide the excitement and immediacy needed to keep the science interesting. I will do the research for you, staying apace developments in both regenerative medicine and the biotech industry, and delivering that content to you in a way that is entertaining and easy to understand. I also hope to eventually be able to interview the people involved in doing such research, as well as those working on these problems in the private sector. I will then offer measured speculation, based on this information, about the possible implications that the current developments could have for the sick and disabled down the road. Finally, an additional reason for why the general public may not be interested in the progress being made in the biomedical field is a lack of personal relevance. Most people do not live with a disability or chronic illness, and thus do not have a stake in the matter. While I could simply point out that nearly everyone has a friend or loved one who does live with a disability or chronic illness, I also plan to put out a few videos which will explore the question of what it might mean for society to have broad swaths of the population who were formerly sick or disabled and not be so anymore. On one hand, there will obviously be a drastic easing of the economic burden that is created by this demographic. This is especially true if we figure out how to halt or reverse the aging process and all of the nursing and retirement homes go out of business. That might sound far-fetched, but, honestly, it's a more realistic possibility to have happen in the near future than you might think. On the other hand, there will also be an increase in competition for jobs. And what do you do with all the formerly disabled people who are now able to work but lack the requisite skills or job experience, at least until automation gets good enough that universal basic income kicks in? We are on the precipice of a major societal and cultural shift around the issue of disability and disease, one that will touch the lives of everyone. It would behoove us to start contemplating and discussing these things now. To that end, I want to try to draw folks from all walks of life into the conversation. By making the topic interesting and relevant to the average person, I hope to get a maximum number of people engaged. Number 3, to help increase the funding of this research. On a more pragmatic level, I also hope that, by educating people about the ongoing biomedical revolution, and getting them excited about what it could mean for the future, the ReNeural Project can contribute, in a small and roundabout way, to actually helping to bring about said revolution. One way that it will do this is by inspiring people to support the public funding of basic research, and to invest in the biotech industry. Perhaps, by raising awareness about the progress currently being made in the biomedical field, I can cause a shift in public consciousness that will trickle down into an increase in the amount of money flowing into that field. On the basic research side of things, I plan to cover the results of the latest experiments that are being done at research institutions across the country and around the world, including clinical trials, as well as to summarize, in layman's terms, pertinent academic articles on various relevant topics. I also want to take the opportunity to use the platform that I am building to shine a spotlight on the men and women in the labs responsible for these breakthroughs. We live in a society in which so much attention is placed on celebrities and sports stars, and so little is placed on the people who are actually responsible for improving our lives. It's about time that the scientists and researchers get some love too. By putting a human face on this important work while also highlighting how fast things are proceeding, maybe I can motivate people to vote to increase the number of tax dollars being given to these labs and the people who run them. On the business side of things, I will be profiling private companies in the biotech sector as they work to bring new products to market. This will include the accomplishments of established firms, but also the aspirations of newer startups that are just beginning their journey. I will also cover the trends taking place in the industry as a whole, as well as the challenges that are coming up. Based on this, I will offer informed speculation on the new technology that we can reasonably expect to see in the near future. By helping potential investors realize that the biotech industry is likely to rapidly expand over the next decade, I hope to inspire those with the financial means and the requisite adventurous spirit to invest in these companies. Or maybe even create a new startup of their own. This is an area in which there is really no need to choose between altruism and self-interest. Whether it's by supporting political candidates in favor of funding important research, or by buying shares in a biotech startup, we can all help to manifest a better world. In letting people know just how close we are to putting an end to disability and disease, perhaps I can inspire them to do their part in pushing us over the finish line. Number 4, to inspire young people to enter the biomedical field. In order to truly make progress in any endeavor, two things are needed: money and human resources. In the previous section, we covered the money part of the equation. Now, I want to talk about human resources. Even though I believe that the end of disability and disease will happen eventually, it's also clear to me that it's still going to take several decades for this to completely unfold. In the meantime, the field will be in need of a steady supply of smart and talented people to work on these problems. To that end, another of the channel's goals will be to encourage young people to want to work in fields related to regenerative medicine and biotech. If you think that you might have an interest in helping the sick and disabled regain their independence, then consider joining the biomedical revolution. As this channel begins to establish itself, we will have videos covering a wide range of topics, including stem cell research, genetic editing, organ printing, age reversal, brain-computer interfaces, and many others. We will also have special edition videos covering specific diseases and disorders, and the current and upcoming state of our ability to treat them. It is my sincere hope that these videos will spark such an interest in you. I believe that, when we are young and trying to decide what to do with our lives, we all dream of basically the same thing, making a difference. The rapid advancement of the biomedical field offers the opportunity to do just that. The next couple of decades are going to be truly unique in human history. For the first time ever, it will start to become possible to set people free from what would have previously been incurable and irreversible medical conditions. The subsequent increase in overall human happiness and human flourishing can be your gift to the world. There is no better way to spend your life than working to make other people's lives better. Doing this is going to take some requisite skills. Whether you choose to go into academia in order to contribute to the furtherance of our collective medical knowledge, join a biotech startup in order to help translate those insights into real-world application, or something in between, what is virtually guaranteed is that there will be a high demand for the passionate and the hardworking in these fields. Conclusion. Thanks for watching. For the first couple of videos on the channel, I'm going to be covering rudimentary knowledge and basic concepts related to these topics to get you up to speed. YouTube is recommending some of them now. Alternatively, you can check out the playlist that I've put together. More substantive videos are in the works, and I hope to start posting regularly soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you got something out of it, then please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on any of these social media platforms. And, if you really like what I'm doing, you can support me on Patreon. The links are all in the description.